Hey guys, okay, so today in class we went over the background essay for our DBQ question. DBQ question is what caused, the DBQ question is what led to the Israeli/Palestinian conflict. So we're going to go through this and we're going to annotate, and I gave in class today a key at the bottom of the paper describing how we should annotate this. So we're going to look at place, we're going to look at date and time, and we're going to look at vocabulary words. Now, the places are signified by circles, the dates and times are by squares, and I'm going to underline vocabulary. And then I'm going to highlight where you can find the answers to your questions within this. So just stick with me and hopefully you'll get what you need to complete this. Okay, so one of the areas created out of the old Ottoman Empire after World War I was Palestine. So let's take that first sentence. Ottoman Empire is definitely a place. So we circle place. And then after World War I is definitely a time. So we're going to square time. And Palestine is a place. So this is what you're going to do throughout the entire essay. There's only 6 paragraphs. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's number the paragraphs. This is paragraph 1. Here's paragraph 2. And here is paragraph 3. I made this paragraph 7 in class because right here is paragraph 4. This is paragraph 5. And this one is paragraph 6. So those are all of our paragraphs. And so now we'll know where we're working at. This area was important to both Jews, Christians, and Muslims because this is where much of what was written in the Old Testament, New Testament, and Quran took place. This sentence number 2, is the answer to question number 1 on the back of your sheet. So this is question number 1. And so let's go ahead and quickly just highlight that since we know that that is the answer. So I'm just going to highlight this. This area was important to both Jews, Christians, and Muslims because this is where much of what was written in. So you guys can change that part of Old Testament, New Testament, the Quran, and you can put this is where most of what was written in their holy books took place. Okay, there are many religious sites in Palestine sacred to all 3 religions. None more so than Jerusalem. So let's go ahead and take care of that sentence and annotate it. Palestine, circle, place, and Jerusalem is a place. So we should have Palestine circled and Jerusalem circled because those are places, and we said those are signified by circles. In the years prior to World War II, well, that is a date or a time, so we're going to square that. And this is also the answer to question number 2 on the back of your sheet. Palestine was divided into Transjordan. So it was divided into Transjordan. Transjordan is a place on the eastern side of the Jordan River and an area still known as Palestine on the western side. The British were given the responsibility of governing Palestine. So question number 2 says, prior to World War II, what 2 parts was Palestine divided into? It was divided into the eastern side and the western side according to the Jordan River. So it was divided into Transjordan. So let's go ahead and highlight that answer. But first, let me go ahead and put my hashtag here. This is going to be hashtag 2. And so let's go ahead and highlight that. So it would be divided into Transjordan, eastern side of Jordan River. We don't need an area known as Palestine on the western, and Palestine on the western side. Transjordan on the eastern side and Palestine on the western side. And who was And then the second part of this, it says, in what European country was in charge of governing them? Well, Great Britain was, because it tells me the British. So Great Britain is the country, that's the word that you need to use, Great Britain. All right. Go back to that. So the British were given the responsibility of governing Palestine until a decision could be made about how to establish a permanent government there. So, have we addressed all the things that we need to in the second paragraph? Let me double check. Nope, I did not circle Palestine here. I think that's good. And let's go on to paragraph 3. Most of the people living in Palestine before World War II, well, before World War II is a time, so we're going to square that. Palestinian Arabs. Arabs is a vocab word. So most of the people living in Palestine before World War II were Palestinian Arabs. Now, the reason that I know Arabs is a vocabulary word because these can be found on the back of your sheet of paper in questions number 3, questions number 4, and question number 8. So we have 5 total vocab words, which are Zionist, Holocaust, Arab, anti-Semitism, and Nazi. So most of the people living in Palestine before World War II were Palestinian Arabs. However, since the late 1800s and early 1900s, Jews from both Central and Western Europe had been immigrating to the area and settling there. Many of these people wanted to create a homeland for Jews in Palestine because they believed that this was the land that God had promised them thousands of years ago. In the stories of the Old Testament, these groups became known as Zionists, those who felt that the world's Jews deserved to return to Zion or the parts of Palestine where the Jewish people had lived during biblical times. So Zion is a place, Palestine is a place, biblical times is a date or a time period. And I underlined the whole thing because this is going to be a definition for us, and this is going to be answer number 3. So let's go ahead and highlight that so we can stay consistent with where we find our answers. So just go ahead and do that. Then I'll take it back here to my pen. So, as both Jews and the Palestinian Arabs tried to hold on to the land, conflict began to break out. Now, who are the Arabs? Because that's clearly a question, and we see this twice. Most people living in Palestine before World War II were Palestinian Arabs. What is an Arab? An Arab is an ethnic group. It's an ethnic group that is living in the area of Palestine. So Arabs are Palestinians. Based on this, is Palestinians living in this area. Okay, let's go on to paragraph 4, 5, and 6. During World War II, the Jewish people of Europe suffered terribly by the hands of the Nazis, which is a German government, which was the German government. So Nazis, excuse me guys, was a German government. There was widespread anti-Semitism, which is a hatred of Jews. So let's go ahead and do some hashtagging. So this is going to be number 8. And I'm going to do A, B, and C. Arabs is A, anti-Semitism is B, and Nazis is C. So this is 8C. Nazis is 8C, and anti-Semitism is going to be 8B. So let's go ahead and highlight those answers. So Nazi is the German government, and anti-Semitism is the hatred of Jews. And there was widespread anti-Semitism and hatred of Jews in Europe. Over 6 million Jews were murdered in concentration camps, and thousands more fled Europe to escape death. This horrible event became known as the Holocaust. And so I just made an equal sign, but I changed this in class to a different color so it sticks out a little bit more. And so I said equals this, and I underlined it. And this was the answer for Holocaust, and Holocaust is number 4, so I'm going to put hashtag 4 right here, so that signifies the answer to that one. Let's go back to my original color. Europe is another place, and so I think we're good there. At the end of the war, the Jewish people of the world wanted to take steps to make sure that nothing like this could ever happen again. Many nations of the world felt tremendous guilt as they learned what had taken place at German-run concentration camps. Before World War II, Jewish groups in the U.S. and Europe had been talking of setting up a homeland in the area of Southwest Asia, known as Palestine. At the end of the war, the newly created United Nations also began to believe that something should be done for Jewish people because of their sufferings. In 1948, we all know that Israel became a state. The United Nations voted to create a homeland for Jews in the part of Palestine. The Jews who were living there accepted the offer and declared the creation of the State of Israel. Palestinian Arabs were not happy with the deal. They felt that their land had been unfairly taken away. The Palestinians, along with several other Arab countries, refused to acknowledge Israel as a new country. War broke out in 1948 between the Israelis and the Palestinians. Other Arab countries in this region agreed with Palestinians and helped them during this conflict. The Israelis were able to win this war and took more land than what had originally been planned. All right, let's go ahead and answer the rest of these questions. Number 5, what world organization created the country of Israel after World War II? Well, we know the United Nations, so this is hashtag number 5, created the homeland for the Jews. So this is number 5. And it goes on to say, and why did many member countries of this organization feel that it was right to create Israel in 1948? They felt that it was right to create it because they said something they believed, right here, they believed that something should be done because of the suffering of Jews. So we're going to highlight that. Because of the suffering of Jews, and put hashtag number 5 down here. Okay. Then number 6 said, how did Arab Palestinians feel about the creation of a new country, the new country Israel? Well, right here in paragraph 6, it says, the Palestinian Arabs were not happy with the deal. This is in sentence 1, 2, 3, 4. This is in sentence number 4. Excuse me, sentence number 3. This is in sentence number 3. Palestinian Arabs were not happy with the deal. So this is number 6. Number 6 is right here. Number 7, when war broke out in Palestine, what countries joined with the Palestinian Arabs to try to stop the creation of the new state? Well, it doesn't give us specific countries, but it does tell us that war broke out in 1948 between the Israelis and the Palestinians. Other Arab countries in this region agreed with the Palestinians. So, war broke out in Palestine. What countries joined with the Palestinian Arabs? So, the other Arab countries. So, other Arab countries. And so, this is number 7. So, other Arab countries joined in with them to help them fight that war. So, that's number 7. And then number 8 we've done already, and number 9 says write a 2 or 3 sentence summary of the background essay describing time, place, and story. So add something about the time frame that's happening here, talk about the places that is happening here, and what is the story here. All right, guys, that is it for that one.